Good morning. As y'all know, I've spent my life, half my adult life, over half my adult life, working the streets as a paramedic. Well, let me tell you right out of the gate, nothing happens good at 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me tell you. And most normal, hard-working folks are asleep at 3 o'clock in the morning, but the rest of them, nah, that's time to get active. But when I first started out, I was working 72-hour shifts in West Virginia, and I had worked private services and stuff like that before I went to West Virginia, but West Virginia was my true 911 starting off, and I got lucky. I got put with a senior paramedic named John Strong. When I came into EMS, paramedics were gods, and you listened to them, especially if they had experience. There weren't no back talk. You didn't do it. There was nothing. I learned this in school. You listen to your paramedic. Shut up and drive. And, that's what I did. But, back in the early days, it was a little slow, and so I remember this one Sunday, I went to sleep. I went to sleep about 6 o'clock, and it was slow. And so, but like I said, nothing happens good at 3 o'clock in the morning. So we get a call to a stabbing at this. We pulled up in this old hillbilly shack, and they're all over the place. I love them. Linoleum floors, newspaper for wallpaper. Anyhow, but once you smell blood and alcohol mixed, you'll never forget that feeling. But the only time in my career has anybody ever led the call for me, and it was John. And he took the lead, and he showed me how to be a street paramedic. We're walking up, and I could smell beer and blood, and John's in the lead, and I could smell it. And he's walking up, and I was going to tell him, "Hey, John, I smell this. I smell this." And as he's walking in the screen door, there's a linoleum floor, and beer and blood mix, and he slips and falls. And he falls in blood, beer blood mix, and it's from the back of his head all the way down to his back of his ankles. 30 years I never had blood on me. Never. And so I don't like catching bloodborne diseases. So I help him up. We get him up. And as we're walking in, it's an old-timey kitchen table, straight back chairs, and there's a woman over here on the left, and she's smoking cigarettes. Virginia Slims. And she's smoking them like they ain't going to make them tomorrow. There's a guy in the chair, and he's stabbed right here. Nope, right here. Right here. There's a cop holding all the pressure he can with his hands, and blood's just squirting through his fingertips, through his fingers, and there's 4 cops over there looking. Not a good situation, because blood's flying through the room. I automatically get on the radio. We need another truck. So John Bledsoe runs over there, and he's holding on the pressure. Cops holding pressure. I get on top of John, and I'm holding pressure. And right here is the clavicle, or is commonly known as the collarbone, right? And right underneath that collarbone, or the clavicle, is an artery. It's called the subclavian artery. And there's an artery and a vein. Everywhere there's an artery, there's a vein. And so, I don't know what the hell they was arguing about, but she got one of them Black Hamel steak knives, and she stabbed him right there. Well, when PD walked in, He said, "Oh shit, you've been stabbed," and he pulled it out. Don't ever pull a knife out, because if it was, that knife might have, could have, possibly might have tamponaded the, blocked off, stopped the bleeding. But he pulled it out, and so we'll never know. So she's over smoking, and I was like, "Can you get this lady out of here? She's aggravating me." I'm smoking Marlboro Reds. Not one hanging from my lip, but shit. So they move her. Another crew comes in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 sets of hands trying to save this guy's life. We get him loaded up onto the ambulance. The one cop that was holding pressure gets up front, drive. The other cops ain't doing nothing. And so we got 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 pairs of hands, 3 men and 1 woman, holding all the pressure we can, with all the bandages we can hold on him to keep him from dying. And we get him to the hospital, and we get him up there, an emergency room doctor. From this day forward, I never not carried a pair of hemostats on me. We get in there, and I never had a stabbing like this ever again. We get into the emergency room, and the doctor takes that pair of hemostats, and he clamps that artery, and it stops bleeding and saves the guy's life. True story, and I'm sticking to it. Folks, swing hard, swing fast, I'm telling you. Swing hard, swing fast. If you don't, somebody's going to die. But me and John, I was thinking about another call. Me and John, we got a call. It was snowing. It was snowing like hell. 6 foot of snow on the ground. Snow called. By the way, me and John had the only 4-wheel drive ambulance in the county, and it was a van type, wasn't worth shit. We get a call to these kids that are bobsledding, and they're on a bobsled, and this one kid comes down a hill, and he goes under a wood slat fence, and he pulls back. I know you see me in my underwear, but if you ain't never seen an old man in their underwear, you're never going to see it again. Pulls that quadricep back, pow, pulls it back. And I could see the kid. He's about 15. I could see the kid's femur, his leg bone. Cool for me, wasn't for him. And so we just flipped it back over and rolled it up with some gauze, and took him to the hospital, and they stitched it up, and he was fine. And then and on the same day, Grandma's dying, and who's got the will? Some old lady was Alzheimer's. Was out, got lost in the snow in her nightgown. So me and John are riding around looking for her, and we find her, and she's face down in the snow. True story. Can't make this up. That's how I met my wife. And swing hard, swing fast. Yeah. And so we was looking for this lady, Alzheimer's patient, face down in the snow, 80-something, 89 years old. It don't matter how old she was old. And we found her, and she's soaking wet. She's unconscious. So we get her down to the ambulance. And the first thing you do with people that are unconscious, cold in the snow, is you get their wet clothes off of them, and you start warming them up. So we did. We get her nightgown off of her, and kids, close your eyes and look away. Close your eyes and look away. And don't listen. We get her gown cut off, and she has the breast of a 21-year-old girl. And her vagina looked weird. Really weird. Back to work. So we get her warmed up. We're warming her up. humidified oxygen, the whole 9 yards. You have to put heat in their pits and you warm them up and you turn the heat on. And we advised the ER what we was got and we was coming in. And so get her to the ER and we put her in the bed. And a good paramedic always raises the rails on the ER bed so you don't roll out of the bed and crack your head and break your arm. And so we did that, and I'm giving my wife a report, well, my future wife, giving her a report, and this lady crawls out over top the rails, and she goes over to the corner, and she lifts up her gown, and she starts peeing like a guy. And so the hospital staff going over grabbing hold of her, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? And my wife's like, don't you know who she is? I'm like, nope. She's like, she's the first lady to ever have a sex change operation in America. And she's got Alzheimer's. When you get Alzheimer's, sometimes you revert back to your childhood. And so she reverted back to her childhood, and she thought she was a guy, but she's not a guy no more. She had doctor-made breast and doctor-made vagina, which made it look weird. And so I asked my wife, I said, do you like Mexican food? She's like, yeah. I said, do you want to go get some Mexican food and drink some margaritas tomorrow? And she's like, sure. And so we've been married 26 years. Saving lives, taking names, swing hard and swing fast. Me and my wife got married inside of 3 months, and we've been married for 26 years, till death do us part. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Look, folks, if you don't swing hard, swing fast, somebody's going to die. And you can't let people die. If you like this video and you want more stories and stuff like this, please subscribe. Hit the like, share, and subscribe, and comment down below on anything. Anyhow, y'all have a good day. Thank you. Be safe. Next story coming up, I'll tell you some crazy stuff about fishing. Anyhow, y'all have a good day. Thank you for watching.